Good afternoon. It is February 14th, and we're taking a look at guncalendars.com, where we attempt to archive our daily firearms history. This year, we're going through weekly and taking a look at the calendar instead of daily. Give us some feedback on if you'd like to see daily updates or weekly updates. So we're going to take a look first back at last week, and then we'll take a look at what's coming up. So this last week, we had a couple of events that were canceled, unfortunately. We had a couple of anniversaries. Let's start with those. One of the sadder anniversaries is the anniversary of the passing of Mosin. So the Mosin Nagant was invented by two guys. One of them was named Mosin. He was born in 1849, but unfortunately he passed in February 8th of 1902. So last Sunday, week anniversary of that now. We also had the founding of the Boy Scouts back in 1910. That was also last Sunday. This last week would have been the 9-day run of the Great American Outdoor Show, a large outdoor and shooting exposition outdoor event in Pennsylvania. Normally that runs for 9 days. It covers 2 weekends, and we'd be in the midst of that or the end of that event. Unfortunately, it was canceled, and I don't think they did any kind of virtual version. It would have been a great year for them to capitalize on the SHOT Show having not happened. So we also had the Hunting and Western Conservation Exposition. And that, again, is normally a show that happens at a convention center. I think this year it was also virtual. We had the movie 600 Miles released this week. It's a really bad movie that we were involved in the production of back years before it was made. The actor had a problem with the director, and they canceled the movie. Then they started the movie again with a different actor and filmed it a second time. And then it was eventually released internationally, very small audiences, and it never actually went out. And it's not a great movie. But in 2016, they showed it, I think it was just one day, at least one day in English. It was a Spanish language movie. So they had it one day in English here in Tucson, and a bunch of us that were involved in the production got to go down and watch for ourselves or watch ourselves. I wasn't on it, but I might have been in a corner of it. But the people that were actors in it got to see themselves on the big screen, and we got to actually see the movie. We'd never seen the movie, and it's not a good movie. Anyway, the anniversary of that was back in 2016. Kind of neat being involved in a movie twice. Let's see, and then we had the anniversary of Michigan decriminalizing hunting with a suppressor. So that happens every once in a while, along with constitutional carry or other events that happen on a state level. We want to keep those in the calendar as well. These events don't just happen. We're not obligated to we're not entitled to these. They're not obligated to move these kind of measures. These happen with efforts, and they pay off. So we want to acknowledge those. That was in 2015 on the 11th. We also had the invention of the suppressor. Now, this isn't the Maxim suppressor. I'm not totally sure the history of this, but when I find things that have actual dates, I'll add them to the calendar event occasionally. Now, High Caliber History might be the better place to get the answer to this. In fact, I think I have asked him before. I just don't remember what he told me was the answer to this one. But one of the suppressors, anniversary of that back in 1912. That brings us to today, and this weekend we have another event actually happening right now, and it's an interesting event that I don't think gets enough attention, and I'm hoping to next year bring more attention to it. It's called the Ambassador Academy. It's run by Dana Mueller and her husband and a bunch of other people that are in the shooting industry, so competitive shooters and people in the gun and firearms industry get together and train, learn, and expand their skill sets and their horizons. So I'm not totally aware of everything that's going on, but our friends from Latino Locked and Loaded Latinos, Latino Locked and Loaded, is there this weekend. And I think their show this evening, which you should watch, will attempt to broadcast from the Academy. So we'll get more information as time goes on. But it seems like a really interesting concept where they bring people in the industry together to enhance skills and to encourage collaboration and to accomplish some resource. They get things from the Academy. It costs money, but they're getting stuff in return. And really seems like an interesting concept. I'd definitely like to see something like this for the DC project, a specific DC project Ambassador Academy. I don't know if that's already something that exists and I'm just not aware of it. But this seems like just the perfect thing for what we've got happening right now, getting our Second Amendment advocates and media people tuned in and on point with their skills and in focus and in concert with our positions. We're going to have a whole new group of anti-rights folks to deal with, and all new adversaries, and all kinds of new help. We have all kinds of new allies, and our community is always adapting and growing. So the Ambassador Academy seems like a really interesting thing, and I can't wait to hear more about it and see some of the results from it, and we'll keep moving. So that's happening this weekend. It's a multi-day event. Now it's February 14th, and a lot of us realize that there's a tradition of love and appreciation on the 14th, and that comes from the fact that this is the day that 1911 was patented. Because of this, we've stopped 2 world wars, and there's not been a world war since because of the 1911, and that was patented today, back in 1911. Then we have this week is the National Salute to Veteran Patients. So there's quite a few weeks and months that are dedicated to aspects of military service and veteran awareness, and veteran patients are people that are paying an ongoing price for their service. Let's remember them, and when there's time to spend time, effort, awareness, and resource, money on good organizations, let's remember people that are working for each other. Then we have another sad anniversary of Elmer Keith passing away on the anniversary of the 1911. It must be a bittersweet situation for the guy. First he had to die, and then he had to die on the anniversary of the 1911. I'm pretty sure he's a revolver guy. But it's easy to make light. I don't have that much awareness of who the guy is, other than he's one of the shoulders we stand on. I believe he did stuff like work at the arsenal during World War II and make a bunch of Garands happen, and then created stuff like the 357 and the 44 Magnum. So let's remember the people that created the world we live in today. And then we'll move forward. We've got a whole week of interesting things coming up. The Ambassador Academy, it looks like it's happening until the 17th, unless I got my dates off. So it's starting today, not ending. And then we also have tomorrow the anniversary of Dick Casoul. So talking about legends and revolvers and calibers. Got, of course, the 454 Casoul is his caliber. My favorite invention of his is the modern mini revolver that North American Arms today produces. Was invented by Dick Casoul back in 1970. He made a really cool, what is this? I guess a drum mag, a horizontal rotary drum mag, if that's really a thing, a rotational drum mag. Has elements of the P90, it has elements of the Thompson, it has elements of the Calico. It's a crazy 22 full auto, 220 or 180 round 22 caliber gun. Amazing in I don't know why you would make that. I guess I don't know the story of it, but variety of guns, I guess, is what I'm going after. He made the smallest modern mini revolvers, production level mini revolvers, and the largest modern production level revolvers. Interesting dude, made calibers and guns, lived in Wyoming, and I don't know enough about the guy. I'm hoping there's a lot of information out there that I'm not aware of. If not, great thing to research. Next, we have Maxwell Atchison. I don't know how to say his name good, but big fan of his. Unfortunately, he passed. This is the anniversary of his passing back in 2003. We all had an opportunity to meet this guy. He's the inventor of the AA-12. He invented it in his garage. He used parts that were already available, and the concept was born. He then eventually sold the patent to a guy named Jerry in Tennessee, who gave the concept of the task to a guy named Bourget, also in Tennessee, and they created the modern AA-12. Well, Bourget created it. Jerry owned it. Couldn't sell it to anybody because nobody really wants a full auto shotgun for much as a handheld item, but once they started putting it into drones and into other vehicles that could handle a magazine for a full auto shotgun, you started to see more interest in the thing. I'm not sure what's happening now that they've attempted to go with a semi-auto version of it, which was difficult because everything about it is a destructive device. They eventually tried to do a semi-auto version, and again, there's lots of stuff to talk about there, but the guy who invented it all had to pass away at some point, and he did that in 2003, tomorrow. So tomorrow is the day of the AA-12, perhaps. Well, maybe let's use his birth date as the day of the AA-12. We have another anniversary of a passing on Tuesday. That'll be John Garand, is the way he pronounced it. And he was a Canadian. He got around to creating one of the most strongest battle rifles ever created, ended World War II with it, and then gave the patent to the United States. So pretty cool story there. There's probably other people that have maybe more detail to that story. Might be a good time to dig into that on Tuesday, the 16th, which will be the anniversary of his passing. And I guess, did I say his passing in 1974? I technically had a chance to meet that guy, but when I hear about somebody like Atchison who died in 2003, I feel like I didn't have a good life if I didn't meet some of these gun inventors. What was I wasting my time doing in 2002 or something? So we have events on, I just did Tuesday, so next we'll go to the 19th, which will be the anniversary of our Coast Guard Reserve. People who give crap to the Coast Guard don't understand what the Coast Guard does for us, or do for us. So they have a reserve. Most of the branches of the service do. The reserve are for the talented people with experience to still keep in contact with those who are doing valid, vital service. And the reserves didn't exist right from the beginning. So thanks to the people that created them. Looks like our Coast Guard Reserve is 78 years old on Thursday, the 19th. Was it Thursday? It was Friday the 19th. Next, we'll have a couple of more positive anniversaries, it looks like. We've got the anniversary of the birth of Dragunov or Druganov. It's a commie, but at least it's a birth instead of the anniversary of a passing. And he will be born February 20th in 1920. He'll go on to build the Dragunov and the SVD. Let's see, then we have the Tidehart Amendment. Honestly, who knows what the Tidehart Amendment is? Is it an important one? It's kind of neat. Tidehart Amendment is from 2013. Tidehart is a guy who was a Republican from Kansas, a senator, I believe, and he proposed to the ATF to not release publicly the data of where criminals are purchasing their firearms, basically limiting the awareness of the crooked FFLs to law enforcement or prosecutors during their research. In other words, keeping information away from the public, but also not creating a list of the worst gun shops where criminals are able to buy guns. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's a law, and it's something that nobody pays attention to, I don't think. It comes up occasionally, but Kansas doesn't get enough heads up out there, so let's remember that. Let's remember our history, and that's what the gun calendars is all about, to remember the stuff that isn't fancy or makes a lot of money. We definitely don't make a lot of money on gun calendars. Then we have next weekend, the 2A rally here in Arizona. So the Riders USA and AZ Firearms, Gun Freedom Radio, and Pot of Gold Auctions get together and have a get together at the state capitol here in Arizona, which is in Phoenix. And now that it's been an ongoing event, it's a regular event. Many people are familiar with how to get there and where to park and when to get there. And of course, we leave it cleaner than when we get there. We have a great time. It's a picnic / rally / speaker event, but mainly it's just it's like a gun show without the purchasing motivation. There's some food there, there's some tents set up, there's people to talk to, there's people to listen to, and usually it's good weather. Unfortunately for some of you, I don't want to rub it in, but there's a reason we live in Arizona, even though we complain about it in July. Anyway, that's going to be a one-day event for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon. We encourage anybody who's interested and able to show up, and some of us will be running that virtually as well. We then have Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll be back with this show if everything goes according to plan, and we can talk about what will be happening then. We have the anniversary of the passing of Robin Moore, who wrote the Ballad of the Green Berets. Did a bunch of other stuff too. Some of the people like James Bond and Bourne are based off of actual people, and from what I understand, Robin Moore is one of those type of people. And then we have another anniversary of the passing of Eugene Rising, who is, this is a bad draft of his card over on the deck, but from what I understand, Rising is a very clever and ingenious inventor and worked with Browning and others, if I'm remembering everybody correctly. So I don't necessarily bring you the facts, I just try to remind us of where we're coming from and where we're going. Let us know if we're doing a good job, and remember that all of this is brought to us by our Patreons, the people that subscribe to what we do. So thanks to those who make it possible for us to do what we do. And thank you for showing up for this. Let us know in the comments if you'd rather see these daily or if these long-winded weekly ones are more up your alley. I can normally end it by doing this, but instead this time I think I'm going to end it by doing this. Let us know what you think.